the assault, because it's an assault on the senses, the beat, the tone, the lyrics, and all of it is an assault on the senses. But if you listen to the spirit behind it, and I think of it, why am I motivated by this type of language and this type of culture, which seems the opposite of the way my parents and good decent people were raised you to listen? And I hear the spirit of Imam Muhammad, and I say, well, this spirit and this force is something in the nature of a human being, because when I look at the imams and I hear Imam Muhammad trying to get some spirit out of them, and then I'm looking for that spirit that I see in Imam Muhammad, and I have to find it in hip-hop. So Satan knows that too. Satan knows that too, so he gets your children and say, well, this isn't the aim of hip-hop. This is the aim of hip-hop. You think it's to motivate you and to get you behind some great leader, African-American leader, that someday one of these hip-hop leaders are going to be your community leaders, you know. And some of them do. The ones that survive Hollywood, you know, they leave that life of, you know, the material life, looking for just material gain in Hollywood, and they join African Americans and communities that want to help communities, and they do a lot of charity work. So there's something to the culture and to the language of the culture, and that we should never lock ourselves into one mindset, and to, like Sister Rashida was saying, and to reject or to put these things aside is just to put them in their proper places. And then once we do that and we act responsible and intelligent, then we can communicate with the young people and navigate this world the way Satan has his hand over the world and controlling it. If you have the knowledge and the understanding of what's going on, then you can navigate it just as he is, and you can see clear. Because Allah said he's weak, so we believers, so we're supposed to trust Allah and not fear him and know that he's weak. If he's weak, then then you have the ability to overcome him. So, alhamdulillah. And the technology, I thought about it also, that Allah's mercy is everywhere. And I see women, and they complain about people talking on a cell phone. And not to mention women, I'm going to clear this up real quick. It's all people. So I know we can take that off. But the cell phone, they mentioned that you should stop. I think it's illegal. I know it's illegal in Illinois to be talking on your cell phone in your car. But then when I think about it, anything that you're doing that takes your mind away from driving, make it illegal to drink a pop or eat a soda, to turn your radio off and on, you know, because you'll never see a person distracted from their driving and hitting the gas or speeding off somewhere. So the cell phone, you know, I wonder why sometimes. But when you think about it, when you think about the past maybe 15, 20 years before the cell phone, all of the women that were tethered to that phone cord that started in the kitchen on the wall and wound around the house, up and down the stairs and the coffee table and everywhere. Just think of the freedom and the mercy of Allah with those things like that, with the internet. And also, we used to take a machine. We have now the Mosque cares if anyone wants to donate and you don't have the cash or you're trying to keep up with your budget. We have an app on the ministry phone back there that if you want to donate with your credit card, we can do it right there on the phone. So Allah's mercy is always near. Just keep that in mind and just reflect on the past 15 to 20 years just in your personal life. And look at the good things and look at the things that Allah brought about. Satan wants to make us think that that this world, the things that come out of the world of you know, the science and the advances in technology are man's work. But Imam Muhammad, he taught us better than that. That everything that man got, he had to get it from the world that God created. So if these technologies and the things, advancements come from this world, we should share the knowledge with the youth and glorify God when we see these things happen, and let the youth know that this should make them a stronger and more successful human being, knowing that God's mercy is always near and is much greater than his punishment. And to obey God and to try to be the best person that you can be in life, and the reward will come to you, inshallah. And Oh, this month is this month we're getting ready to have our we're preparing for one of our major events of the year. You know, it's not promoted like I think it should, and I'm really impressed with these First Sunday programs, and that I think that Muslim Journal, I don't know if anybody's here reporting on it, but it would help even the Muslim Journal, because the broader community is not getting access to our programs. If someone would report on it, these First Sunday programs, because they're extremely beneficial to not just the progress of the community, but to unify the community and to set an example. That's been one of my major motivations, because you know, being African American, I hate to come down on us all the time that, you know, you're the closest people. I'm African American. I consider you my family, so I know you the best, and you know me, so we can pretty much predict each other's behavior. And what we need to stop doing is predicting each other's behavior and changing our own behavior. So that's the strategy that I've used. I've changed my behavior, and if I see something that I don't like that I think needs to be changed or improved on, I set out to do it myself. And I try to raise the bar, raise the standard, you know. So, you know, and I take the punishment later. If I'm doing something wrong, they say, well, hey, he's spending too much money on promotion and advertising, this and that. But what are you doing with the charity that you get? We post ours, we make it public. We say what we're going to do. We're going to put all our energies and all our efforts into making this the best we can, because we're all doing it for one common cause, and that's to see the vision of Imam Mohammed over 30 years or more, 40 years, his entire lifetime, continuing the legacy and the spirit which I identified with his father. If you listen closely to his father's words, not the personality behind that, but I was listening to Imam Muhammad commenting on one of the last speeches that his father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, gave, instructing him to change that we should change the way we treat and view the white race, which he was so fervent about condemning in most of his speeches and everything he did. So for him to take that course, that to me is clear evidence that he was instrumental in making the person through that with that type of language, informing the type of person that the type of leader that Imam Deen Muhammad came. Because if he didn't have any support from his father to be the type of leader, who knows what type of leader he might have turned out to be. You know, if you study his speeches and his language, you will hear how strong the influence of his father was on him in this direction. Not in the direction that the public saw, but in the direction that he saw his father point to. So, Allah is with us, and the work that needs to be done is going to be done by the best of us and by the believers. What we need to do is pull the coattails of our brothers and sisters here in this Midwest area and try to get them to support something that's not in the spirit, in the negative spirit, to try to give something and have faith. Increase their faith. And the only way we can get our brother to increase his faith is by us showing more faith. You know, I always bring it back to yourself and the example that you set. So we set the best examples and struggle with ourselves, you know. If you don't know how you're coming off, go look at yourself in the mirror and see if you like what you see, you know. And try to do something about it. Like Michael Jackson said, make a change or something. I don't know. But if we want to be a part of this blessing that Allah has in store for us, which is a great blessing and a great mercy, and I'm a witness to it in my life. I know, I'm a witness. I was practically raised by my father's enemies. I was raised by some of the best people on the planet Earth who dearly loved his father so much and loved him so much. So I was raised by the best people, but Imam Muhammad loved us, African American people, and loved the life that he saw Allah pointing to for humanity through the scripture, the Quran, the Holy Quran first, and the Bible and everything he studied. And he loved us so much.